All right. Hello, everybody. It is me, Study Bunny, and welcome to the Chapter 69 recap of Tears on a Withered Flower. So today was the continuation of the Mincheol flashbacks. This is the second time in the series that we've had Mincheol and Haesoo flashbacks. The last time this happened was chapters 28, 29, and chapters 30. 28 ended off with the beginning of the Mincheol Haesoo flashbacks, and then we ended off all those Mincheol Haesoo flashbacks in chapter 30, and the same thing is occurring again in chapter 68. And then we had a full Mincheol Haesoo chapter in chapter 69, and then we're probably going to be done all of this by chapter 70. I know how everybody kind of feels about it. It's a bit of a polarizing issue, but unfortunately this is kind of needed so we can understand why Haesoo decided to stay, and also why she makes the decisions she does when it comes to the relationships with Taeha. What happened in today's chapter? So in today's chapter we continued off with what happened. Oh my god, we continued off with what happened. I'm gonna just stay on this image. We continued off with the flashbacks. Mincheol was getting punished by his teacher, and he was letting him know that he has to really start preparing and taking the Sunang exam seriously, which is the Korean SATs. And then he obviously hanged out with Haesoo. They had a little nice conversation. I don't know if it was nice, but it was a little conversation about Mincheol going to college and Haesoo saying, just don't abandon me. I know there's going to be a lot of girls there. Then we continue off with a situation with Lee Gyo-woon, which is the guy who was shitting on Mincheol and Haesoo. Well, was shitting on Haesoo, but it turns out that he has a crush on Haesoo, and he's very jealous of Mincheol for, being with Haesoo, if you get what I mean. We find out that his boss at his job, his construction job, is getting married. That leads up to the whole situation that happened with the father. We have confirmation now that Haesoo's father is abusive, and we also kind of got confirmation that Haesoo's mother decided to leave. So it turns out that she left, kind of leaving Haesoo to kind of deal with the father herself. A fight ensued between Mincheol and her dad, and then which prompted Mincheol to say, let's run away with each other. Then we ended off the chapter with Mincheol's teacher basically admonishing him for why he made that decision. How are my thoughts with this chapter? This chapter confirmed a lot of basically on why Haesoo decided to kind of stay with Mincheol for as long as she did, because a lot of people were really pissed at some points of the story on Haesoo kind of being afraid of moving on. But at the same time, when you see her past, and honestly this is how I kind of felt, she has every right to be bitter about everything that has happened in her life, but she still continues to be so kind. But at the same time, you can also kind of see Mincheol's savior complex. There was a character analysis done a few weeks ago. I'll actually link it down in the chat, of Mincheol and his kind of personality. Right over here. And there has been a few posts about him. And how he does demonstrate a savior complex. So this chapter does show it, because he did decide to come in and save the day, which was kind of him to do. But at the same time, I think there was little subtle hints that showed that, first and foremost, Mincheol does like it when Haesoo gets jealous, when Haesoo has a lot of feelings towards him, even albeit them not being positive. And as well as he likes to be, seen as more in Haesoo's eyes. What are you guys' thoughts on this chapter? What are your thoughts about the chapter? You guys can put it in the chat. You guys can do a request, and then we can begin the discussion. I love talking, so do not worry. Don't worry. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. You guys can also come up to the stage. You guys can also speak. And yeah, and then we'll also start off with different things that kind of connected with different stuff that happened in the chapter. I also would like to talk about the cover that happened. But I do hope gae-nim does take a break, because I am very scared for her, to be honest. Because she did announce in the author's notes in the Raws that she was sick. So I need to get... Here we go. Yeah, she was about to call off a hiatus today. That's why the chapter came in late. But she was able to finish it last minute. I think they gave her a lot of leeway to be able to hand in a chapter a little bit late, because she's #1 in romance right now. So I think when you're very popular, they'll have a little bit more leeway when it comes to handing in stuff. And also the fact that what is it? She's Tears on a Withered Flower is doing super well in Korea. I think it's #1 on the entire site right now, unless Operation True Love has overtaken it. Nope. Still #1. I can even show it to you guys. Here. Share this tab instead. See? It's doing super well. So it's been doing well for weeks. Does anybody have any thoughts on this chapter? I know we've had a lot of discussions down in the chats, in the chapter, in the league discussion chats, as well as there's been a bunch of stuff on Twitter, and there's been a bunch of stuff on TikTok, obviously, and the latter. So you guys can also come up to the stage. Do we have any requests to come and speak? There's no harm. I'm just gonna blab. I don't mind blabbing. Yeah, the pressure is on for gae-nim, but I do hope she takes a break. Not because I think that she's losing track of the story, but because the worst case scenario is that she burns out and she doesn't come back for a long time. And she does have a lot of pressure. I do think that she hears comments about what people make on the story. And I feel bad, because she tries to write her story the way she wants to write it, and people have very heavy feelings about it. Okay, if Mincheol is there, people get upset. If Mincheol is not there, people get upset. Oh, there's no smut, people get upset. If there is smut, people get upset. And it's just like, at this point, you just gotta let her write. That's what I have to say. You have to let her write. But I am happy, though, that gae-nim does spend a lot of time getting the readers to see what's going on in all of the characters' minds. One thing that a lot of writers do is that they allow for whatever narrative about the antagonist to be pushed through, even if that narrative is not true. But she actually puts a lot of effort into making us understand every single character within the story, because Mincheol's story is connected to Nahae-so's story. So even though, yes, we don't want to hear anything about Mincheol, yes, we would prefer to never see him again. I don't know, unless he's suffering. But if we don't understand Mincheol's story and what happened with Mincheol, we wouldn't understand what happened with Nahae-so. One of the biggest critiques that people have of Nahae-so is that she doesn't like have a lot of strength, or like people say that she doesn't take control of situations. But at the same time, as you can see, she hasn't had the chance to even have that self-development. I always refer to Maslow's hierarchy of needs when I discuss about Nahae-so. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a psychological pyramid that's used in talks of child development, as well. Yeah, in child development, and I actually studied it. And it talks about, I'll share this tab. It talks about the different things that people need. So Nahae-so couldn't have she had her physiological needs met, but she never had her safety needs met when she was with her father. And because she never had her safety needs met, she couldn't understand love and belonging as properly as she needed to. And then obviously that also connects with esteem. So people are like, okay, why can't Nahae-so just move on with Taeha and confess to Taeha, and then them having a conversation? Her physiological needs are met, which is fine, but her safety needs aren't met. She still is mentally strained when it comes to the debt. She's still mentally strained with what happened in her past. She's still mentally strained with all of the things she has to do with her life. And because of that, she can't focus on love and belonging right after that. And then because she can't focus on love and belonging and that concept of love and belonging, she now can't understand her esteem is lower than what it has to be. And that is why once you have your love and belonging needs met, you can start building more. Your self esteem grows, and it's not realistic. Thank you, Kimvi. It's not realistic. Nettie said, we can see in this chapter how much Mincheol cared for Haeseo. And I will say something as a study bunny. I do acknowledge that Mincheol loves Na Haeseo. But what makes me more angry about his character is that he was fully aware of everything that Na Haeseo went through, but still treated her the way he did up until now. Because you go back to the chapters, you do the reread, and then you see that he's making fun of her for her looks. He's calling her a doormat. He's saying to himself that she was a mistake, that she's a rose that I picked in my past that I regret. Then you hear him in his monologues with his colleagues, oh, if things were different with Na Haeseo, would we able, and it's just like, you know what she's been through. You know what she's been through. Yes, they had youthful love. They had the type of love that is fiery, that is passionate. And a lot of people say this: if you can't love when things get tough, then that love will not be able to last. And that's just the story of Na Haeseo and Mincheol Kang. Yes, they loved each other. Yeah, they loved each other. We can see that, but it wasn't stable. It wasn't realistic. It wasn't something that could be sustained for a long period of time. Because here's the thing about working with kids, especially teenagers. Once life starts showing you up, and this is what the teacher said, and I really like the fact that there was a teacher in this episode, because the teacher read Mincheol for Filth. His attitude reflected his mindset. Because he gets so cocky and he gets so arrogant and he gets so optimistic, and it's not even like an optimism that makes sense. It's an optimism that doesn't in tune with reality. He assumes that everything is going to be okay, but he doesn't have a good foundation to be able to ensure that everything will be okay. And you can see this with how he thinks that Na Haeseo hasn't moved on, though he cheated on her wedding day on their marital bed while also putting her in egregious amounts of debt. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't clock. Sora said, I opened my browser and the page that showed up was the last one I read, which is to say chapter 69 of Tears on a Withered Flower. So I reread it because why not? The first time I read it a bit too fast, so I thought Mincheol called her wifey, which sound kind of cute and playful if we can debate on the fact that he called her by her name instead. But actually, he didn't call her wifey, just by wife. But actually, and he then gives her what can sound like an order in context. Let's go. She tells him that she feels uncomfortable being called like that in public, but he doesn't care and tells her that she likes that, while she literally said a minute ago that she doesn't. I think that he acted like that because he wanted to show off to his friend and implicitly tell him that Haeseo was his. However, that scene showed that he was very possessive and jealous from the beginning, not because he was insecure and didn't trust Haeseo, but out of pure selfishness. So when he grew up, he felt emasculated and started to be insecure. His jealousy worsened. And that is so true. That is a bar. That's a bar if I've ever heard a bar in my life. Hi, Loletta. And the thing is that when you see Mincheol in the present day, you can tell, especially in chapter 68, the reason why he decided to cheat on Na Haeseo was because he felt emasculated. He feels like he has to do terrible things to Na Haeseo to make her feel jealous so he can prove to himself that, oh my gosh, he still cares about the relationship. And that's not healthy. Like, that is something that you do not want ever in your relationship. You should not have this toxic style where oh my gosh, I have to feel like this person needs to feel jealous. This person needs to feel rage. This person needs to feel all these things. So I feel comfortable that I am being loved within this relationship. And that's not healthy. That's not healthy. Um more toxic the better. Little, you're not serious. Um but no, it's not healthy at all. There's been a few like tweets as well from the community that I personally really liked. And I'll also read them here for context. Because yeah. And then here I'll even share them. So Q Animanga said, Mincheol is a great example of what happens to a man when they don't get what they want and someone who isn't a real man. People say he used to be so good. What happened to him? It isn't him being villainized for the plot. All of his failures and his setback is always because of. He has no accountability. When your rose tinted glasses come off and are faced with the realities of adulthood, someone with a victim complex and no accountability and responsibility ends up like Mincheol Kang. It is very real. It's a very real an example, and I appreciate how gay isn't, plus won't romanticize it. Yes, the purpose of the high school flashbacks is not to show the back. It's only to show the backstory of a character, but to also show the energy and the naiveties of youth. That's how you juxtapose the story in this current timeline. There, where you see how growth affects a character. When you see how Nahe So and Taeha interact, it's very mature. There was this post on Xianghang Shu. I also follow the people who are also a part of the Tears on a Withered Flower community as well. And the people in Xianghang Shu were kind of saying, and I really liked some of their posts as well. I hope I can be able to find the one that I was reading this afternoon. Was saying, okay, will Taeha end up becoming like Mincheol because Naheso was reminded of how Mincheol was as a teenager because Taeha was like that. And the one difference that Taeha has, and Mincheol doesn't, is that Taeha does not have the nativities of youth because he never had the opportunity to feel praise for just existing. Does that make sense? Taeha had to mature quick. We forget that Taeha was raised in an emotionally neglectful environment. We forget that Taeha was threatened constantly by his brother. So unlike Mincheol, who had hope for the future, Taeha had no hope for the future at all. We can see his youthful naivety now because he has hope now. Taeha went to college. Yes, Taeha went to college, but also Taeha had to be really realistic by the things and the cards he was given. And he also understands that, and you could tell by his monologues in chapter 67 that, okay, lying to Naheso is going to probably ruin everything that I planned. There's a good chance that she'll never forgive me. So Taeha is extremely aware of his surroundings, but also he's very extremely aware of the consequences that could happen with his actions that he has taken. Mincheol is not. And even what happened in chapter 56 as he was coming up the stairs, he was talking to himself, he was looking at the stuff that was right in front of his door. Mincheol still did not comprehend the gravity of the situation. Mincheol did not comprehend what he did, because if he was to really comprehend what he did to Nahe So and what that spelled out for his relationship and also his life in general, Mincheol will not be able to forgive himself, and I feel like he will have like a massive breakdown. And that's just the truth. Let me see the comments. Taeha collapses inward. He's aware of his lack of worth, even though it's not true. Mincheol projects outward. He hides his lack of worth behind arrogance and cruelty, which is true. People forget that Taeha is extremely insecure. People forget that Taeha doesn't have a high sense of self-worth. He doesn't. There's been times within the story that he doesn't see himself at all as like someone who's worth it for Naheso's love. He feels like he will easily lose. He wants to be the trophy. While Mincheol wants to use Naheso as the trophy of their love, Taeha wants to be the trophy. Taeha wants to be owned by Naheso, while Mincheol wants to own Naheso. Um, it should be on the show request. Let me see if I can even link it. Let me see if I can even link it. No. Let me see. Oh, let me invite you to speak. If you also want me to invite you to speak, I can do that. Where's the speaker? You should be able to Stacks, try to leave and then try to come back. Oh, the speaker volume? Click on if you're on your oh. Hmm. I think not Hazel wants peace. Let us like we know what Hazel wants. She wants peace, but she also wants Taeha. You know what's something I also noticed in this chapter? Nahiso is extremely possessive. Cynthia literally is having this hope. I'm even gonna tag her. I'm gonna even tag her to this. I think Cynthia's dream of having a mutually obsessive couple is actually going to come true, just because you can actually see in their flashback that Naheso was possessive of Mincheol. She's not anymore, but she's becoming extremely possessive of Taeha. When we had that whole thing about Taeha probably being a gigolo, and then I had to see all of those tacky shirts. We actually get insight onto how Heiso literally is pretty possessive about having Taeha in her life. And she does want these two individuals are afraid of being betrayed by love, but they are also afraid of they're also not realizing that they're both mutually obsessed with each other in one way. Jesus is very subtle. Naheso's is very subtle. Taeha's is very subtle as well. We just have more insight into it. I feel like we will actually kind of see Naheso's like obsession a little bit when she gets insight into how Taeha's past is. And I also wanted to say as well, I don't know why there's always something going on with your speakers. You weren't hearing headphones. Oh my gosh. Oh, you could pick the volume and then you should be able to hear. I forgot. I don't know if you're on your phone. I can't really see if you guys are on mobile. Okay. I invited you to speak. I don't know what's going on. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hi. Oh my god. This is my first time.
Hi. Oh no pressure. No pressure. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh my god.
So what do you want to say? What are your thoughts?
I still want to know about like Hazel's mother. Like her dad mentioned about like her mom and stuff, and I'm like, my god. It makes me think like did she do something like caused like her mother's death? Like, hold up, let me search up the website. Here's,
I am very interested. See, because her dad mentioned that like Heiso, like he took after not Heiso took after her mother's look, which is obviously the most likely chance when it comes to mother to daughter. But people have been having theories that like Heiso's mom is connected to the Beom family in some way, which I don't think is possible because they live in Seoul. All Chaebol families are kind of based in Seoul. But I am very interested as well. But I feel like she's kind of in her own right a tragic character because she had to deal with the abuse, and so she decided to just like book it for her own safety, and probably knew that her daughter will definitely find a way. But seeing how her dad is also possessive and ended up, being abusive and stuff like that, and always probably reminding the mom and stuff like, because that's like the most common thing. Um, I think it's really sad to me that seeing Naheso ended up being with someone similar to her father, in my
Yeah.
perspective, but just like her mom, she was able to escape it. And I think that was also parallel to her own future because her dad couldn't do anything once the mom left. And I don't think that's going to be the same thing that's going to happen to Mincheol. He can't really do anything. Well, he now can't do anything because Naheso's gone.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm like reading this chapter right now. Uh, I'm just making sure she takes after her mom and now she's already a check. Oh man. Saying you crazy old man. Huh. Did her did her mom like went with another dude? Is that what happened? She takes after
It,
her mom and now she's already attached to other men.
yeah,
Huh.
I think so. She probably moved on with another relationship. That's a
Dang.
parallel to Heiso, though. She
But like
left.
why would she leave Hazel behind if that were the case? Wouldn't
So many.
would
Do you know how many people do that though? Like, I've seen way too many stories of people growing up in like women in abusive situations, and then they decide to leave, and then sometimes they have to abandon the kids. They abandon the kids. Sometimes it's out of selfish reasons, which I'm going to assume that's the case with Nahe So. She probably wanted to come along with her mom, but sometimes in those new relationships, women don't want to have any encounter with their past, so they decide to abandon the kids behind, everyone behind, and then just start a new life afresh.
That's true. My
Yeah,
goodness. Messed up.
yeah. That is messed up. I feel so bad for these two, Heiso and Taeha, because it's just like, dang, they should just burn the world together. I wouldn't be pissed. It still gets to me that no, because Naheso has every right to turn bitter and to be upset with everybody. And if she wanted to like say, you know what, I'm going to ruin Mincheol's life, nobody should blame her. Like, no one should blame her for it because it's like, dang, she has been through the ringer. Hi, Loletta.
Hi.
Hola.
Oh my gosh. She's been through the ringer. My poor girl. She has been through everything. And you know what? Um, like, ah, and the thing is, you're like, yeah, in these situations and in these stories, Kim V is right. In these stories, like, you would have the woman who would feel like they have to blame, what is it called? The other woman. And Nahiso has not once blamed Ari for everything that has happened to
Exactly.
her. Like,
That
can
is
we
so
give her
true.
we gotta give this woman a round. And also, may I just say this to the audience and anyone who's listening to the recording? Naheso, Naheso will never, ever, ever get back with Mincheol Kang. We have already had a chapter where she had a chance. She's not gonna get back with him now after everything that happened in chapter 27. So there's no way that it's gonna happen. Because the last time he came back in chapter 27 and he was acting all cocky and seeing the teddy bear and stuff like that, she literally threw everything. She was pissed. I've never seen her this angry. She literally saw his shoes and she literally lost her shit. And I was just like, dang, you got this reaction by seeing shoes? Good for you, girl. There's no way. Anyways,
Oh my god. Everyone, so
yes.
like people in my comments on my videos have been like, "Oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh, we need to give him a second chance." And I was like, "Nope." I made a video about it and I was like, "Absolutely not. Please remember
No.
who he is. Like just because you seeing the past him doesn't not mean that that is also him, but that's not him right now, present. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what are you talking
Exactly.
about? Like if Hazel should not forgive him personally. Okay, personally, but if she does, it's on her. But I don't think so, based off of like what you said off of that chapter.
Oh my gosh, there's literally so many chapters that you're just like, there's no way. Because first and foremost, gae-nim's the type of writer who uses past chapters as backdrops for present chapters, right? So any chapter that's come into the series at this point, it's fair game. So you're telling me that chapter 27 is not going to be fair game, where she literally was like this. You're telling me that chapter 26, when she literally called him a effing bastard up in the rooftop, is not fair game. Like, she literally was telling him and screaming to the night sky, I will never get back with you. And you're telling me that she's gonna turn around, see this man again, he's gonna cry, he's gonna do his crocodile tears, and they're gonna get back together? I'm sorry, there's no second chance. There's no second chance. His redemption has to be him holding himself accountable and letting himself realize that he messed up and she has moved on. That's going to be his redemption for me. Yes, Dax. I'm sorry, girl.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Hi, how are you guys? Anyways, so I read the chapter. I find it pretty ironic and like a little bit of a foreshadow about what Mincheol's teacher told him. You know, if you act too cocky, life will come and like humble you. And that really was like, oh wow, like, you know, like he thought that he was bigger than the picture and better than everybody else, and I thought that was just crazy how like it actually, like, looking back on it now. But anyways, I also have like a conspiracy theory. I mean, the chances are very low, but I'm sorry guys, this is my son behind me in the background. But you know, Haeso's mother, right? The dad was talking smack and God knows what, you know, because she took her looks or something like that, right?
Yeah.
This is just a conspiracy theory, but what are the chances that like Haeso's mom and like Taeha's dad?
Oh no.
I know the chances are
I
very, very
refuse that
low.
statement.
I know the chances are very low, but I mean, like, you know, like, wouldn't that be like a twist?
So nasty.
That would be a twist. That the whole fandom would be going crazy.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then I don't know if Haeso's mom like was in their lives. Did she pass away, or did she like, you know, met some guy, attracted a different guy, and like left and ran away with him? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think her story, I think she's one of those characters that we're not going to get a lot of intrigue onto her, but we just need to know like what happened, because we do know that she was with her father before her and Mincheol got together. And honestly, all we just need to know is whether or not she's still okay. Because, well, we know that her father had more direct influence onto what is it called? Haeso's upbringing and like her PTSD with violence and stuff. We just need to, like, her mom left for better. I think that there's some things that we just don't need to like kind of brush on to within the story, because her mom left. And just like Naheso did with Mincheol, she left after he betrayed her. Like, I feel like if
I do think.
Taeha,
Oh, sorry. I do
I
think.
think that if,
Oh, sorry.
oh my god,
You're like,
let me
okay.
finish my thought and then you go,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I'm a
Finish your
yaff.
thought. Finish your thought. Yeah. Okay.
I'm so sorry, girl. The issue is that I think that if Taeha didn't even intervene within the story, I feel like if it get escalated to that amount of abuse that Naheso's mother had to go through, that would be the only way that Naheso left. But the issue is that the reason why Naheso's mom left was because she finally found someone else. So yeah, Hazel was going through the same level of emotional abuse that her mom probably suffered for. She saw Taeha. She was able to confidently remove herself from the relationship. Okay, so let's go. I'm gonna mute myself.
Okay. Okay. In my opinion, for me personally, reading the chapter, um, honestly, when you're young and you're in love, you know what I mean? You're still at that beginning stage of like, you know what I mean? You don't really like think of like responsibilities and all that. And
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like because this was just the beginning, we can understand Minchel and Hazel's relationship on how, I wouldn't say good. I mean, he was good at a certain point, which was obviously in the very beginning. But
Yeah.
they've been married for, I think, what, 13 years? Was it
Yeah.
13? Yeah, they've been
It
married
Yeah.
was
for 13
13.
years. So I feel like this is just the beginning. Like, this is just the stepping stone for us to understand the dynamic of how good it was, the climb, like, like the introduction, the paragraph, the climax, and then we come to the conclusion of like, which we already did, if that makes any sense. If anyone's
Yeah,
understanding what,
of their
yeah,
past, right?
yeah, like I'm
Past.
saying, I feel like reading this chapter was just like a preview of how good the relationship was. They were young, they were in high school, they didn't know how life or how tough life would take them, if that makes any sense. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The
Yeah.
responsibility, because when you're in high school and everything, you're very gullible. You just think about like, as long as I'm with the person that I love, that I'm dating, like, nothing else really matters. I'm gonna like words are different than actions. So I feel like when
Oh
when
yeah.
Minch really was thinking like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and then when he actually did, got like he had already got the girl, got married, ran away with her. The responsibility was just so overbearing for him, I guess, that he
Yeah.
couldn't
Yeah, it
take it.
was.
And they've been married
Yeah.
for 13 years. Like I said, I just feel like this is just the preview. And I feel like we're gonna like start to come and see, like, personally for me, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of things to uncover. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like we're gonna see like the really bad Minchel, like, and the amount of stuff that Hazel carried on her back, if that makes any sense. Because like
Yeah.
we've seen her like overworked and everything, but that was like the end, like, you know what I mean? That was just at the last few years of their relationship. But they've been married for
Yes.
13 years. God knows what has happened in the past 13 years for her to just
Yeah.
finally be fed up. Because you don't just be fed up just because, like, I feel like maybe for her, Hazel cheating was the last straw. That broke the camel's
That
back.
was the last
You know what
straw.
I mean?
That
Like,
was the last straw.
some women have boundaries. It's like, okay, if he cheats on me, I'm never getting back together with him. If he's this, I'm not. You know what I mean? Some women have certain
Mm-hmm.
boundaries that if it's crossed, there's no going back to it, no matter what.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
certain.
Yeah.
So I feel like for her, that cheating was just like, yeah, like there's no going back from it ever again. And it's already it. Hayes already has said it in the earliest chapters that once you see your spouse having sexual intercourse with another woman, she can never go back from that ever again.
Yep.
Which goes to
No,
show me,
no, that's the truth.
yeah,
There
which
was
goes
a
to show me that.
person on
Oh,
Twitter because
sorry.
I'm putting up some of like the tweets on the community, and I'm even going to put up some of the stuff that was shown on the Reddit pages. I'll link to where all of these places are so
Mhm.
everyone can have a chance to join and stuff. But Nyx said, remember the scene of Hazel collapsing on the floor and crying after discovering her ex's infidelity? Well, I have a theory that gae-nim will recreate the same scene with Mincheol when he returns to the house, finding it empty with Hazel already moved. So we're going to have a same parallel to what happened in chapter 18, the scene where she's crying because of everything, and because I still feel so bad for her
The
in that
thing, the
scene.
thing that I like, the thing I like about this manhwa is
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of foreshadowing. There's a lot of
Oh yeah.
parallel. There's the messages, and then when you go look in the future chapters, and then you're like, oh my god, where did
Mm-hmm.
I like get this message from? Because I could have sworn like it was low-key hinted, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go
Mm-hmm.
back rereading, because for me, like, I reread a couple of times, like 2-3 times, and then it's so weird to me because when I read from the beginning, I don't really get the hint, and then when I go back from the future chapter and then going back all over again, I'm like, oh
Mm-hmm.
shit, like this was like a what do they call it, what is that game, oh my god, I don't know, but it's like this it's like this puzzle and everything, and it's like, you're looking into pieces and messages and everything and parallels and foreshadowing. For
Yes.
me right now, I just uncovered, with the teacher, like telling
Mm-hmm.
Mincheol, like, hey, you need to get your shit together. You gotta, stop acting cocky, because and then look at Mincheol now.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing
No.
is with Mitchell, like, he thinks that Peso is his possession, that he's so delusional that she's not gonna go anywhere. No one's gonna like want her or love her as much as him. The gaslighting, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And he's so delusional that because he's cocky, because he thinks that he's the shit, you know what I mean? That she's not going
Yeah.
anywhere. And look where it got you. He doesn't know this, but as us readers, we're like, oh, like, you think all of this, little do you know that she's met a different guy, treating her better,
Mm.
physically better. Like, his expectations wouldn't excel to your level. You know what I mean?
Nope.
And he doesn't even know it. And that's what's so crazy to me with reading this chapter. I'm like, wow, like, you're you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I am afraid though, now thinking about like the confrontation that's going to happen because of Mitchell's characterization. Um, like Mitchell's been characterized to be having someone with a hero complex, to be slightly narcissistic. Like, I know some people are like, he's not a narcissist, or he is a narcissist, but I'm going to say that his mentality is very narcissistic. He doesn't have to have narcissistic personality disorder, but things that I kind of see that, for example, when Lee Gyo Woon was looking at Haeso, he decided to kind of call Hazel wife in order to kind of show that like this person is mine. This person is mine, and there's nothing you can do about it. Stop looking at her with filthy eyes. You're looking at your sister-in-law with filthy eyes. But also Mari, who is also on the server, she said this chapter is honestly more painful because it shows everything Hazel went through. She used to be the victim who had protection from the only person she trusted, Mincheol, and when he turned around and repeated the same abuse, she was left with no one else to turn to. She was always the victim, living in vulnerability and never able to ask for help. Mincheol knew about her traumas, yet he still silenced her and made her feel guilty for everything in their life. So no, this guy isn't a prince or anything. So that is Mari, and she is also on the server, and she's one of the theorists. So I'm very afraid though that Mincheol is going to be extremely violent to Naheso when he finds out that she has moved on. This is something that I'm realizing more and more, and I think the reason why, if we were to get the expectation that was there in the beginning of the series, where Mincheol will see Haeso and Taeha going at it, and then Mincheol will start to regret. Now knowing how gae-nim writes chapters, how she writes stories, and how she kind of does it in like a novel type, in like a style of a novel where little by little is being revealed every chapter, but we understand the characterization of the characters, we understand the psychology of the
The
characters.
monologue too.
The monologues are super important. I'm actually really afraid that once we get to the point where the confrontations start happening, Mincheol will act very violent. And the reason why I'm saying this, and I always refer to these covers, because yes, the covers are actually really important. The covers are actually really needed, and we do need the covers no matter what. We have covers already hinting at Mincheol's downfall. Mincheol's downfall will put him into mania. he will demonstrate manic behaviors. We already have the Tyrant's King. We have the Tyrant's King cover, which is the cover for chapter 34. And the thing is that this man's not gonna have a pretty reaction. This man is not gonna have a pretty reaction. So I realized that gae-nim is trying to slowly and surely move the tone of the story from how it was kind of light before. It was very light. There's some optimism in there, to something much more darker and mature. And the reason why I'm saying this is that because we have Taeha's backstory still left to go, Taeha's backstory has been foreshadowed to be extremely dark. And when you are doing literature and you're writing stuff, you have to actually be very aware of the toning of the story, the tone of the story. So is it a dark atmosphere? If you're going to implement grimdark, you have to see, well, it has to have hints within it in the story. It has to already be a layer within the story, and it is a layer within this story in particular, because you have a character who's been predicted to be dead, or who has been confirmed to already be dead. There is a theory being thrown around that one of the main characters has witnessed this character's death. And also the fact that there's abuse within the story. There's very heavy themes within the story. Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Remember
everything is fine.
Okay, remember, Loretta, did you not
Oh.
forget in chapter 27, Taeha said that, I killed your mom? Taeha's mom's dead. Like, Taeha's mom is dead. So we need to kind of understand that. I don't think Taeha's backstory is going to be a happy one. I feel like we're going to have to be within the pits of angst within the story before we get Taeha's backstory. Or that's going to actually how we get bridged into Taeha's backstory. But even, like, Mincheol probably foreshadowed the fact that it's like, oh my gosh, will I even live to 94? I think Mincheol even characterized himself that he might die by the end of this manhwa, and I know this is going to sound very dark. I feel like that will actually be a good comeuppance for him, because of the fact that if his past self and his present self were looking at each other, I think his past self will be like, jump, and what you've done was absolutely unforgivable, and the whole 9 yards and everything like that. But it's going to be a very violent reaction. It's not going to be good. And you know what? I could see why we're about to get into the stuff with the debt. We're going to see how Hazel suffered, and I feel like when you're in angst for too long, though, it can make the audience feel very down and stuff. And there is some comedic points within the story. So I don't think that's the reason why Gae wants to go into it for too long of a period of time. Oh my god, your memes kill me, Loletta. I don't think gae-nim would want to go for it for a long period of time, just because if it gets too dark, people get too sad, and people usually want to read fictional bodies of work for escapism, even though this author does take the realism card very, very seriously. All right, does anyone have also other comments? I know this is actually not the first time we've gone 2 to 3 weeks without seeing Taeha. Ironically, the ratings do drop even more when Taeha's not in the story. But at the same time, like, this isn't the first time this has happened. This is not the first time that we actually went there. We've actually had less chapters, though, without Naheso in its entirety, and there's only actually been one. The only chapter that we didn't actually see Naheso at all was chapter 51. We didn't see Naheso at all in that chapter. Not even, like, a mention. We did get, like, a mention, because Heiso has been permeated into all layers within the story, but there has only been one chapter. Loletta said, if the world only sees Mincheol as a parasite, like the Shoopkeeper did, is there any way for him to prove otherwise, or has he already lost? He kind of already is lost. I won't lie. He's kind of already lost. I don't think you can really go back, because if anybody tries to, if Mincheol sat with himself and it's just like, I got a job, I could have helped pay back the debts, but I ended up cheating on my wife. And then he explains why he cheated on said wife, and then explains that, oh, yeah, I put her into debt. When did you cheat on her? Oh, on our wedding anniversary. Oh, okay. Did you know that? Yes, I knew that she was abused. Like, it just gets worse. It just gets
The
worse. You know, when you,
study bunny,
yeah,
I do have a question.
yeah.
So okay, I don't know why this is so hard for me to like actually believe, but in
Mm-hmm.
your very opinion, do you believe
Mm-hmm.
that Mincheol was abusive towards Hazel? And when I say abusive, I mean like physical, like you know what I mean? Like maybe like her dad physical at some point? Or I mean to what extent? But I just feel like he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't for me, I don't think he was abusive like people say he would. I'd say
I would
probably like push and shove or
Wait,
but like
I
emotional, mental,
wait,
yes, but physical, I
wait.
can't imagine that.
I would
Okay,
say
wait.
mentally abused.
Before we go to that, I just want to show a couple panels. Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C. This is not the first time he did it. I think if Mincheol was in a drunken state, he would have hit Naheso. I think it because
Like
he was such.
slap her or because me it's like okay, like would he like pin her, you know what I mean, or shove her? But I mean when I'm saying physical, I'm saying like physical like her father. If to that like you know to that degree or like to what extent do
I think
you
so.
believe he was
Only if he's drunk. Only if he's
you
drunk.
oh wow, you think that he's like that bad? Oh my god.
No, like, okay, here's the thing about Mincheol.
You know what? It's a
I don't
theory.
like him.
I'm
I
open to
think
listen.
my theory is that Mincheol probably had a situation where he got really, really drunk. Like drunk, broke into despair, and he flew into a rage. Like, I don't think that him physically abusing Heiso like her father did was probably out of intention. I think he did it because his emotions got the better of him. And this is me literally saying this despite hating the guy with all my might. Him literally hating himself and everything, and he breaks stuff, he destroys stuff, or he gets really drunk, something happened, Naheso didn't mean it for him to happen, and then he hurts Naheso. I don't think it was repeated as much
You
as her
think
dad, but it
oh
was
sorry.
probably a one-off thing. I think it was like a one-off, but
Do you
that should be
sorry.
enough.
Do you
No,
think
no, no,
that
actually,
okay, remember when okay, listen, you have photographic memory, so hopefully
yeah.
you know what I'm talking about. Um
Mm-hmm.
so Hazel, she had a miscarriage,
Yes.
right? The
Yeah.
miscarriage, she said that the only incident that she's ever been hospitalized was uh, I don't know around what time, but when I calculated the time, I was like, okay, there's a possibility that Taeha was in high school, right? But check if the number or thing
She
was right.
was she was 24 years old, and she said she
Hmm.
had a fever. There's a 10-year age gap, so Taeha was 14 years old, so he would have been a freshman. In the Korean grading system, he would have been in grade 9 or in first year high school. No, they only have 3 years in high school, so he
Okay.
would still be in middle school. He would still be in middle school.
Okay.
She
So
was
he's still in middle
24
school.
when yeah. So he wouldn't have any connection to it because I
Okay.
like that
Okay.
every time it's yeah,
I
he
was
wouldn't have any
connecting.
connection.
I was connecting it because I was like, what if the odds were she had the miscarriage, He-
Hmm.
Minchell found out, very upset, got drunk. She tried talking to him, everything, and then that's when he flew to. You know what I mean? I think that for him was like,
Oh
okay, that's the
yeah.
last straw. You
Oh.
had a miscarriage. We have no money. Okay, first we're in debt. We're broke. We're
Oh
all of this, and that just broke his spirit. Where it's like now we can't even have kids because like you miscarried and popped off on her because that was the last straw. She walks out
yeah.
miserable, sad as fuck, and then meets
Oh, and the flashback.
Taeha.
Yeah.
Clock it.
Wait, no. That makes sense though, because the thing is that he was wearing middle school. So in Korea, you wear uniforms starting from middle school and high school. So he definitely was wearing a middle school uniform probably around that time. And I think
Yes.
even like 14-year-olds will have like a growth spurt. And then 2009 there was the H1N1 flu, and it was pretty big in Korea during that time. Don't ask me how I know,
Okay.
but but the thing is that there was a good chance that she would have probably like encountered him around that time, because of the fact that I think it was something that was very brutal. But that flashback though to the bus stop, I don't think it was the loan sharks who were the cause of like how she was like looking that dirty, because first and foremost, she was in Seoul by the time like she encountered Taeha. That was the only way.
Yeah.
They already moved out of the hometown.
It had already been a few years, I'm assuming.
It's been a few
Yeah.
years for sure. And then oh my gosh, I think it was 6059. But I'm going to let me get back onto that. But it was already a few years. She was already in the neighborhood that they moved into. And I don't think the loan sharks would have start like brutalizing her, because
Yeah.
she probably started working the jobs. So the only other person that could, make her hold her arm like that, because Mincheol has been shown to like to
Yeah.
grab her wrist for some reason. I think Mincheol probably flew into a rage when he was drunk, and then that was probably the one off, and then that is how they had that encounter.
Yeah.
Would I be surprised if he has done that before? Sadly, no. Just because he's shown to shove her and pin her to walls. And the issue is that in situations like that, if you're already physically like that, if you already have that much physicality in your relationship, the only way it can get worse is if it escalates. Sadly, that is just the only reason why I think that, because it just escalates. It just escalates, right? I don't think it would have been constant.
Do you
But
think?
when Mincheol said, "Oh, forget about the past" in chapter 14. And so because she was screamed at and she was pinned to the wall, she was very scared and she was very tensed up, because something must have happened within the past that she went through that. Yeah.
Do you believe in? Well, actually, okay. So I just made up a theory a few
Yeah.
minutes ago. You heard me say it. Do you believe that it
Uh-huh.
was carriage that made Mincheol like go rampage?
Go. Mm, would I be surprised? I think the miscarriage was the last straw. Um,
But you don't know
I think the miscarriage.
what the issue was about for him, probably.
Yeah, I think it would have been the miscarriage. It would make more sense if it's the miscarriage. That would be the last straw for Taeha, because of the fact, not for Taeha, for Mincheol, because he would have been like, oh my gosh, life is already ruining me and everything. But one thing that I still don't get, right, is that he was working all of these jobs and stuff. He could have still been able to get a construction or a trades job in in um, um in Seoul. It's still possible. It would have been still possible if he got a part-time construction job while he was still in Seoul, South Korea. So, well, when he arrives in Seoul. So that's why I'm kind of confused about. So that's just me though. That's why I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, that was like
Yeah.
confusing.
Oh, Tiger It. The 2009 H1N1 flu pandemic was associated with the increased risk of complications for pregnant women, including miscarriage. I'm sending this over to the theorists. No. Okay. Girl.
Oh my god.
Yes. Do you? Oh. No, I'm giving you a theories roll.
So the flu.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, no. They gotta know. They have to know. Wait. Yeah, that has to be acknowledged. The 2009 H1N1 flu pandemic was associated with the increased risk of complications for pregnant women, including miscarriage. In South Korea, while some initial reports suggest the virus effects might be mild in Korean women, later multi-center and single hospital studies found pregnant women face significant risk, including mortality and pregnancy loss. She lost the baby because of the flu that she had at 24. So she had the baby. She got pregnant at 24.
Wait, what?
Girl, look at the
So she
chat.
met Taeha in middle school?
Wait. Yo, you're losing the plot. Yo, we're talking about the flu. We're talking about theorize. Explain.
Okay, that's just open a whole different. Okay. I don't
know if we should let you go through any more rabbit holes, but I'm giving you the theorist role, just by the way, because that was too good. No, that was too good.
Whoa. What? Holy crap. I just left for like a second and I'm like, what?
Oh my god. No.
Wait, who I just found that out? That was some tea right there. That was some tea.
Oh my gosh. You do not understand. And gae-nim always make sure it makes sense realistically.
This is crazy. Wait. Okay. So that means
I'm not understanding.
When she met Tae. Oh, sorry. What'd you say?
She would have met Taeha in the hospital.
Wait, I'm so confused now.
Okay, hold on.
Great. Let me explain from what I know. Taeha posted a photo about the fact that the 2009 H1N1 flu pandemic was associated with
which Hae-so got at 24, which probably caused a miscarriage. Okay, yes. But I'm not understanding. What does that? Okay, let's say for instance that did happen. What then?
You know how people were theorizing that Na Hae-so and Taeha met at the hospital because Taeha had health issues?
Yes.
There was a good chance that, she's 24, Taeha was 14. They must have met at the hospital. That's
when
what
she was
saying.
24.
Yes.
So the person that was possibly holding his hand while he was sick.
That's his mom or Hae-so, but it's most likely the mom.
Yeah.
Okay, Hoodie wants to speak. I'm gonna get her in here. Oh my goodness. I'm posting that on Twitter just to let you know.
You're telling me that the time that she saw him at bus stop wasn't the first time?
It was probably, oh my gosh, I think it's the second time.
I don't think she even remembered like that was him either. I don't think so.
She wouldn't have, because if anybody has seen how bad the H1N1 flu is, you're in straight up delusion land. You don't remember it. You're just trying to live. People have died by that flu, by the way, especially in the 1912 pandemic. It was so bad. But the 2009 wasn't as bad, but people still died. But the issue is that she wouldn't have remembered because she was that sick. She was that sick.
What chapter was it when they did the flashbacks on when the thugs came? I know there was more than one chapter, but I'm particularly thinking of a certain chapter. Because remember when she was walking towards the bench and he was sitting there and she was like all beat up and stuff?
It's chapter 56 with this one. Let me even screen share it.
Because I'm like, is it because she of the flu, or is it because or does it have something to do with the fact that they didn't have enough money to pay like for like more clothes for her or something? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get what I'm saying?
Or
we
maybe
don't have much context. But it was raining. So it was raining. She didn't have an umbrella. Yeah, soaked wet.
And she looked like she was attacked.
It might be like after like when those oh my god, shirt loans Stradlins came in and like destroy the whole house. You know, it might be that. You know, but oh, I'm sorry.
I think so, but it's not the same as the flashback that was, and that was one of the earlier chapters. That flashback of the debt and the whole situation that was going on with that. Oh my gosh, that was like an early chapter. Oh my gosh, I think that was like. See, I always have them all mixed together, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's like the first 10 chapters. Oh my gosh, the drawing has improved so much. Oh lordy, lordy, lord.
So when he's in the hospital holding the hand, you're saying that
That
the
was
pregnancy
chapter
is up?
41. I think that's his
one?
mom, though. I think that
You
was
think
his
that's?
mom
I was
because
thinking
the
it was
woman.
her.
No, I think it's
That
the
could be
mom,
her.
just because. I don't think so, because of the fact it was chapter 40 actually, but I don't think so because that lady's hand was freshly manicured. It looked nice.
Wait, where are you?
and
Where are you? Hold on, where are you?
I am trying to look for chapter 40. Let me find it. This is 23. No,
Oh,
this is.
gotcha. Okay, now I'm okay.
Let me get to that because we actually had an important flashback despite it being the Valentine's Day episode. This was such a cute episode though. Let me focus. Let me stay focused. See, I don't think this would be her. She got whole manicure and everything, and Taeha looks
No,
younger.
exactly.
Taeha
Yeah,
looks
that's true.
smaller.
That
But
was
in
probably his
chapter,
mom.
yeah. So, but
Yeah,
the
he
thing
was
was is that there was a
14.
chapter. There was a chapter mentioned. It was, I think it was chapter. Let me
Mentions what?
see the thumbnails. The thumbnails always re-jog my memory for some reason. It was
Mentions
chapter
what?
Wasn't there a chapter where it showed
chapter.
what's his name? Taehi beat up what's his name? Taeha in school.
Yes,
And he
Mhm.
was like, wasn't he the same size he was when he was in the hospital, or
Mhm.
was he like a little bit
yes.
bigger?
He was the
So
same
he was
size.
probably he's same size as the one that he's laying in the hospital.
Mhm.
Yes, same
So he was
size.
probably in middle school, right?
No,
Because
but
don't they
no, but
mix
he was
like
small. He was
I would
oh
think
small.
that during this time he probably was able to get out of the hospital because you remember there were other scenes of him being isolated within the house and then
Yeah,
being beat up and stuff. So this was probably around the time he was able to get out of the hospital, but when he did, he still had no freedom.
like this is how he was looking like, and this is the same clothes he was wearing. Back in the
Mhm.
flashback in chapter 36. So this was probably even around the same day, or he probably never got to even change clothes and stuff. But the thing was is that he was definitely going to be in elementary school because he was tall, and around 14 years old you have a growth spurt. So but the thing was is that Dongwook said in chapter 22, or it was chapter 23 because it was after the smoking episode, that Taeha was hospitalized a lot. He was in the hospital a lot. He was sick a lot. So
Mhm.
I think during one of those hospitalizations, he definitely had it before he got into high school. He and Hazel had an encounter. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I wanted to say. I'm so sorry, that flu pandemic thing. Oh my
I
gosh,
definitely
Tiger.
do think I definitely do think that when Hazel did have a miscarriage, because we did come up with that theory in the very beginning where she said, that the only time she was at the hospital was when she had a very bad fever. And I thought
Mhm.
that was weird. But I was like, oh my God, didn't we come up with this theory like early on? Like, oh, what are the possibilities that Hazel met Taeha at a hospital? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because he was very sick.
Yeah.
So now that we're talking about the pandemic, mind you, she had a very bad fever. She probably didn't even remember the encounter. And
No.
we don't know that. But maybe the bus stop was for Taeha. I think for Taeha, when he met her at the bus stop and he saw her condition, he was like, "Oh, what
Mhm.
are the odds that we're like probably fated to
Yeah.
meet each other?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
I
don't know.
think
Maybe it
the
was a sign
first
for him.
I think the first time around was probably when he was super young, around this time. And he remembered her, but said to himself there was a chance that they would never meet again. And then the second time was around the bus stop. So he realized that this is probably by chance. And
Yeah.
then he had more connections within the family. So his ranking wasn't the illegitimate child who's now trash, it's the illegitimate child who now is able to access the family resources. So then he was able to connect or be able to get like the bodyguards and stuff to find out information about Haeso. And then that's how we got like the flashback in chapter 67 where he just like slowly seen her in the backgrounds and stuff. Because of that. Digital Girl's here. Girl, come onto the stage. We having conversation. We're having conversation. And oh my gosh. Yeah, that's true. And the medical poverty trap is something that was a big issue. Oh my gosh, and Nahiso was skinny. She had low birth weight. She had low weight, so she probably it was never. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh my. I just get
so
sad
much.
sometimes. No, she's been through the ringer. My poor girl. No, I need her to burn the world down just for funsies. I'll be supporting her. I need her executioner to make shit shake.
Execution? Is that what you just said?
I need Taeha dead. That's what I need. I hate him.
Taeha.
Look, Mincheol, I'm just mad because he fumbled a generational fumble. I hate Taeha because Taeha's shit. He's a well-written character too. If there's anybody who's like pure antagonist vibes, it will be Beom Taeha. And Tahi's a whore. So I'm just like, I have every right to hate him. He wears those ugly ass purple shirts. He's so tacky. His fashion is tacky. He wakes up at 4 p.m. and it is so bad. Girl,
oh my god, tell me how you really feel.
No, if he dies, I will not feel bad. I'll buy chicken.
I am
wings
so excited for Taeha. I'm so excited for Taeha. Like, I cannot wait to see. I really want to see his progression, to see why, like, the dynamic between the dad and the mom that he has, because obviously we kind of know the dynamic that Taeha has with, the family, but I want to see the dynamic that he has with his family, because I know it's probably different. It's a different level. And the pressure he must feel. I'm not giving him an excuse, but I can't wait to see that.
I need to see Taeju. Taeju is so interesting to me. I need to see Taeju. I need to see how that man works. I need to see how the chairman is. He every time he just comes into the story, it's as if there is he just the story's so dark, and I don't know why I love it so much. He's so imposing.
He's like Batman, like, but not the good kind.
No, he's like Bane, and he doesn't care about love or anything. He just wants people to feel. And it's so, like, when chapter 50 came out and we had that cliffhanger, I was like, I was literally screaming because I was just like, no, this man is terrifying, and I love it. He is so scary. He literally doesn't care. And the problem is that, you know what? That is why he's one of my favorite characters. There is so much lore with this man. Like, what's going on with you taking on another woman? What about the whole situation with you and Director Bake? Why don't you like your sons at all? How do you function as the chairman? What's the whole thing with the Chable family? Taesung, that is the company's name. So what is going on with that? And how do you function? And I know he's gonna be so cruel for fun, and it's just like, you need a villain like that. You need a villain like that.
You really think so? You really think he's going to be cruel for fun?
Yes.
I don't think so. I really think that he is just as calculating as Taeha.
Yes.
Because Taeha's not doing it for fun. He's doing it because it makes sense to him. You know what I mean? So I feel like his dad works the same way, where he's not just going to do it for fun. He's going to do it if it makes sense. Because, like, even with him going to see my zaddy, Like, and he slapped my daddy. I was so upset. But at the same time, I was so in awe because he was there. And I'm just like,
Oh my gosh.
and the way he went about slapping Jay, it wasn't just
No,
like,
he
I'm about to
punched
slap
me.
you.
He took off the watch. He was just like, he saw it.
Yes.
Like, this is level aura right over here. He sees the sneakers. He's like, Lee J. Lee J goes up. He takes off
Yes.
the watch with the gloves, knocks him, pulls him from the hair, and is like, I see you became my son's right-hand man. He says, I'm sorry. And he's like, oh, I know. He's like, I understand. And he's like, what else? How I know my son's been acting strange. What else could have been a woman? And I was just like, this man is terrifying because he has knowledge,
Yeah.
he has resources, he has wisdom. He's already told, so he doesn't care. He's not gonna make this. Yes.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
do you guys think
Are you
that
recruiting?
that well, we know that Taejo keeps on tabs for Taeha, and anything that Taeha does, he keeps tabs on both of his sons. So he knows the whereabouts and what goes around and everything. Do you guys believe that he knows about Hazel? He's keeping quiet about it, and he's waiting to see how far it goes and maybe uses Hazel as leverage over Taeha, because he'll start to notice, like, oh, she can, I don't know,
I do think I can see his dad doing that, like using Hazel for leverage. Maybe like Taeha really doesn't want to take over the company, or like maybe Taeha just wants to like find a way to escape the family and be on his own in some capacity. And then his dad kind of forces it on him. It's like, you better stay, or something may happen to Hazel. So I definitely could see that.
Chairman Taeha. I mean, because he was smoking in that cover, and I was just like, what would stress Taeha out enough to smoke? Because gae-nim mentioned that he's a non-smoker, so I was just like, well, we already predicted that there's a separation arc going to happen. And this was the last time before the first separation arc happened. Also, this is the same clothes. He was wearing the same, well, it wasn't the same clothes, but he's wearing the same pants. And then he's wearing a different shirt, and he was around the same age. This poor boy.
Oh my god. That just reminds me of something. You remember I think it was chapter, what was it? The most recent chapter where like Hazel and Taeha were in bed. And you remember the ending of that chapter, like the ending of it, where they were like, promise me like you won't get hurt, and he was like, promise me you'll like call me if anything and stuff like that.
Monologue, yes.
And then you remember the ending of it where it was basically telling us like basically the promises were broken, or the promises weren't kept.
Yes.
What if, like, in that sense, what if gae-nim is basically saying that she didn't keep her promise by calling him or reaching out to him when she needed help in regards to maybe the dad or the family, and then Taeha, he gets hurt in regards to maybe Kang Mincheol or his dad, and he doesn't tell her because it's going to hurt her in some capacity. I just thought about that. I was like, that would be like, wait, are you okay?
My god. Oh my god, that would break me. Oh, honey. Oh no.
Wait, why wouldn't she tell? Wouldn't she tell Taeha though? I'm confused. Am I slow?
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
I'm not keeping. I'm like, my brain is like overworked right now, so I'm trying to like understand, but I'm not understanding.
No. So
let me share.
like, oh yeah, go ahead. I think she's gonna pull up the chapter. Study Bunny's gonna pull it
No,
up. But
I know the chapter that you're talking about. Like, oh, little did we know that. Yeah. But
so
my
I'm
thing
like,
is,
usually in a relationship, like usually the people that, what I'm saying is, I think that they are not going to keep their promises in regards to her reaching out to Taeha because she's probably going to think it's best for her to not reach out to him because maybe she's a burden or maybe it's going to hurt him in some capacity.
Yes.
Like, I'm
And then
confused saying that maybe Taejo. Wait, who do you think is gonna like confront her, and she won't tell Taeha? Is it, you mean the dad, his dad?
Oh, there's so many people. Like,
I mean, the only person that and she won't confront him about it, and then he'll get upset.
I think like if she's in trouble, I don't know. I'm just thinking maybe that correlates to like a future problem that may occur when it in regards to like the secret that he has, which is his family, that she might not reach out to him in regards to that. Like maybe the family will come up to her before they let Taeha know that, you know, they're aware, even though he probably already knows. And they'll probably tell her like, oh, like
that's one of the things that I'm so like confused about, because Taeha is such a calculated person. He's very intelligent. He likes to premeditate things in a way that, for by some luck, goes his way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So my thing
I
is,
still think
like,
it's gonna
he's
bite
putting
him in the
himself-
ass. Sorry.
That's what I'm trying to say, is like, if he knows the capability his father and brother have, and that's what's making him anxious, you know, towards like
No, only
Haeso,
Taeha
you know.
he knows. He only knows about
Yeah,
Taeha trying to put into the business.
It's not even.
I was arguing
But
with
it's not even his
girl.
brother. I mean, I get it, but it's not even his brother. Like, his dad has an aura. Like, I don't understand how he doesn't think that there's one way or another that they're gonna cross paths, if that makes any sense. And remember what he says. He's like, nothing's ever a coincidence, you know? Nothing like
I forgot about that.
everything happens for a reason.
Okay, so the thing is that
my thing is, like,
had...
how does he not confront her and just like tell her? Like, I get it, but it's like he knows he's hiding the situation. He knows that by lying to her it's gonna hurt her.
Yes.
But I don't know what the fuck. Like, why is he doing this to me?
Girl, facts.
Like, what do you
the same
tell
way?
her?
I was so
Okay,
when
that's what
she
I'm
asked
saying.
about his job, and he was like, "Oh, I just work for some company." I was like, "You're a bitch, Taeha. What do you mean?" Excuse my language. Sorry.
I know. Oh my god. But it's mind-boggling to me. Like, it's like, I get it. I get his character. I get his monologues. I get where he's coming from, and we can see like how he, like, you know, does things. He pulls strings and everything and sways things to happen. But I just don't understand, like, why wait until something like that actually does happen? Does he not understand that there's a possibility, like, his dad, his brother, I don't know, someone, like, do you guys understand?
There's two reasons why I think personally, because I went through that type of like, why the fuck does he not just say anything?
Yeah.
Number one, I think if you've ever seen kids who've been emotionally neglected for a long period of time, or even physically neglected. So Taeha thinks, like, Lee Jae has always repeated that, like, no one knows about Taeha's existence. No one knows about Taeha's existence. So he always just assumes that for him, his dad is not going to really know anything that's happening, because when some parents who kind of emotionally neglect their kids, they don't understand like what's ever going on in their lives. In chapter 21, like, Taeha was even saying, or even was kind of joking, like, oh, when did the chairman actually care about family dinners and family affection and stuff like that? Because that's not something he does. I'm assuming, based on everything like I've read so far, I think Taeha's plan was to grab the chairman position, you know, take time, grab the chairman position, keep your enemies close, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer, and get the position so he could be able to slowly reveal himself to Haeso. I think he was assuming that at least at some point, by the time he had the chairman position secured, Haeso would confess his feelings, and that was his plan. However, and this is something that I've said to Digital Girl, this is something that I've said to myself, that is a very naive and dumb plan, Because, unfortunately, he's also very aware that Hazel has gone through a lot of abuse. He's also aware that Hazel has gone through a lot of stuff. And because Taeha's trying to go at her pace, I don't think he anticipated first how long it was going to take for Hazel's feelings to kind of like come through and for the relationship to be something that would be fully realized, but also at the same time how badly his brother wants to destroy him, and also how quickly Taeju would keep tabs on him. Taeha is not aware of the fact that the investigator was there in chapter 47. I think if Taeha was aware, and this is something I argued with Digital Girl, I know if she's hearing me, she would be like, okay, I know, Study Bunny. I don't think Taeha knows that the chairman is already keeping tabs on him. Like, I still don't even know why Lee J hasn't said shit about that yet.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Well, okay. Let's go back to the previous chapter when Taejo walked into Taeha's apartment. Everything that was placed wasn't technically placed when Taeha came back. He knows stuff he has photographic memory, right? So he knows that Lee J must have done some type of cleanup for a specific reason. He didn't know his dad would come in the apartment.
Wait, I don't think. Okay, here's the thing. I think he knew that like Lee J had to cover up some stuff, and that's why this conversation happened. I don't think either Lee J or Taeha is aware about the fact that Taeju already knows where Naheso lives, because he assumes that Taeju will never go to that orbit, though. Like, he will actually find out where Haso lives. He'll find out everything probably about her jobs and stuff. I still think she's gonna get kidnapped. I'm just gonna put it out there. I think this girl's gonna get kidnapped eventually.
By Taeha. By Taeha.
By who?
I think Taeha.
Fuck Taeha. Fuck him. Fuck his
I really
life
think
and fuck his
Taeha will kidnap him.
Well, okay,
He's
Study, but
so
if
dumb.
you think she's
I
gonna
really
get kidnapped, but like, who do you think would do it?
I think Taeha would be the one to kidnap Hazel because he seems to be wanting to get a reaction out of Taeha.
Taeju, yeah.
So I would think he would go and kidnap Hazel and then let his
Hazel.
brother know that she's been kidnapped and be like, yeah, I did it. So let's fight. Like, I really feel like he'll do some crap like that.
But he was pretending that he was a scout at a what is it called? He was pretending that he was a K-pop scout in chapter 57, and I was just like, my dude, you are supposed to be this villain who's supposed to be smart, but you did not inherit your brother and your daddy's genes, my guy. Because I was just like, this is too much. He's pissing me off. But
Personally,
then again,
for me, I feel like Taeha is all bark but no bite. I feel like the switch up when Taeha. Oh, I feel like the switch up when there's a confrontation between Taeha, who was antagonizing Taeha, and he thought that, oh, this will be the usual. And when Taeha lunged at Taeha, we saw the reaction of Taeha. You know, he was tearing up. He actually wide-eye, scared. Like, holy shit! Like, he's an animal. He's a beast. Like, he's crazy. I think. I don't know. I don't know if he would go to the extent of kidnapping, but maybe he would like team up with Mincheol and then just be like, and he's lazy as fuck. Like, he's so lazy. Like, I don't see him like actually having the brains to, doing anything of that sort. Probably paying Mincheol money, like, hey, if you do this and everything, maybe, you can gain something out of it. Like, I want to, backstab my brother, make sure, he's in pain, God knows what, and you want your wife back. So it's a win-win.
Yeah. When I mean that Taehe's going to kidnap her, I don't literally mean that Taehe's going to take her. Like, we have seen that he actually has some brains, because we really didn't think he was going to actually go hire someone to go investigate his brother. And we all were super shocked. I was so shocked. I was like, wow, he's actually using his other head.
Who was investigating? It was Taeju from chapter 43 that got the investigator that was seen in chapter 47. Then he was following, his bodyguard was following Taeha around in chapter 60, in not chapter 67, in chapter 50,
the only thing that like Taeha found out about Haeso was the coincidence of his girl side chick, whatever.
No, I'm not saying he found out. I am saying that he used his resources to start looking into his brother. That's what I'm saying. So he's smart enough to do that. And we all didn't expect him to do that.
No, I expected him to do that. What I didn't expect him is to dress up like a K-pop scout, go to his university, and
that was
very so slightly, you know, if there's any encounters with women this person might have, they look the exact fucking same, by the way. Please let us know so we can make I was like, you're going to want me to go through this.
I literally like, no. I did not expect him to do that. I honestly, you guys have high hopes for him. I expected him to just keep having sex with people. If I'm sex with you to get his way.
I was just like, there's no way. I thought, because no, what made me be like, this man is not smart, is that he was in another woman's guts. She was trying to get a nut in. Why are you asking this poor woman? Have you seen my brother? How do you know my brother? This, that, and frat. He's just a bastard. You're not giving description. You're not sitting down for a coffee. No. She just needs to get her nut in. We know it's not easy for women at all to get the nut in the first place. And then you're asking questions and interrogating this woman.
Honestly, I found that gets the nut. That was weird. I was like, oh my god.
I was like, huh? I know that was intentionally cringy. I know that's intentionally cringy because he's not taken seriously. He is not taken seriously at all, because it's just like, and I think Gae does this on purpose, because we've seen incidents where when a villain has to be taken seriously, like Taeju, like Director Baek, like Mincheol, well, like Jay, when someone has to be taken seriously, we know that gae-nim knows how to put them into positioning. Taeha's not taken with that same seriousness. gae-nim doesn't think he's gonna be that big of a villain. The problem with Taeha as a person is that he is violent and he is dumb and he's cruel to a fault for funsies. But that's how he will be a problem. Bad.
That's how he would be a problem.
That's why he's a problem.
Because he's dumb.
But also the worst thing is, the worst of it all, and this is what chapter 50 demonstrated, was that Taeha has sheer fucking luck on his side. This man is going to find out about Haeso, see Haeso, get all the information about Haeso, because luckily enough, he has fucked almost all of the rich, popular sugar babies in Seoul, South Korea. So someone would have been able to give him intel, because if they see how Taeha looks like, and that they're similar, just like what happened in chapter 45, and then subsequently chapter 50, then they're going to tell him everything he needs to know. But he isn't smart like his dad or his brother. He is dumb, but he has luck, and that is a problem. And that's why I hate the guy, because why do you have luck on your side, but when you actually go and have to investigate the things on your own, it's something.
When you're stupid, you gotta have something on your side. You know what I'm saying?
It's luck. He's rich and he has luck. It's not fair. No, it's not fair.
It's not fair.
It's not. It makes sense for Taeha to be the way he is because he uses his resources. He's super intelligent. So I'm like, I can defend the guy because I'm like, okay, you know what? He's using everything at his disposal. Taeju is just waiting for the minute to strike, and he has stuff to do. And I'm like, that makes sense. We got a good flesh out of Mincheol. I hate Mincheol Kang, just like everybody else does. But I can even say he is a well-written antagonist. Taeha is dumb and he's violent. But unfortunately, that makes him a very great antagonist as well, because gae-nim is really good with her characterization, which also pisses me off because of this character. And it's like, damn, like
I have
you.
That's so funny.
Oh,
I do
no,
have a question
no,
though.
chapter
I do have a really good
yes,
question.
for chapter
So,
69, rereading it, there's a part where the guy, Mincheol's, I don't know, fake friend, I don't know his name.
Mhm.
Yeah, when he was staring at Heiso, um, and Mincheol confronts him. What does he mean when he says, "Do well, we're friends, right?" Question mark. Right? Question mark.
Yeah.
I won't fall twice. What does that mean? Like, I won't fall twice. I don't get that.
wait,
I
are you
think that
talking
was
about
like
this recent chapter with his friend?
Yeah, like this chapter, like for today, like
Yeah.
you guys were talking and everything, so I was like, oh, let me just reread it again if I'm like missing anything, just because like for the recording, just in case like
Mhm.
anybody else has this question. But he's like, he pats him in the shoulder, tells him do well, we're friends, right? And then he comes. I don't know if this is a monologue or he's telling him this, but he's like,
Mhm.
I won't fall twice.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the right translation, Study Bunny, because I'm reading off of
which
Rito.
translation? Oh, don't do that. It's temple.
Oh, okay.
Temple. Yeah,
Okay. Well, what was the
don't.
translation for that? You know what? I might as well just check it for Temple Scan and see what it says. So you guys can
I
continue on.
will. I will. I will. Pull it up once I get
Oh,
through all
okay.
of
I
these
just
like
wanted
5,000
to
Oh,
see
text
if
apps.
that if
oh. When the guy was
Ugh.
looking at the friend, I mean the friend was looking at Heiso and then he came
yeah,
up and they
and
were
he confronts him, and then around that.
I really
All right. So
oh
what's the scene. Here's the scene. Mincheol sees the fact that the guy's looking at Nahe, so he comes up, he gets a ball, he kicks it in the face.
yeah.
You effing
Mhm.
bastard, you scared the shit out of me, damn it. You crazy
Oh,
bastard kicking the ball. The League Yan Wu, you're looking at your sister-in-law with filthy eyes. Behave yourself. We're friends, right?
Oh.
I let that slide a second time.
I think
yeah.
what you saw was I
First
think you
time.
saw the Looney Tunes version because I think the Looney Tunes version
Luna
said Looney Tunes said I won't fall twice. So I think that was meant for I won't let that slide twice maybe because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not what's showing on there.
Yeah.
No, it's I won't let it slide twice.
Which
Yeah.
makes
I
Yeah.
more
won't let it.
sense because he had a private conversation with Heiso about Mincheol. Mincheol caught on and felt some type of way. And then
Mhm.
That's funny that his friend was like really gazing at Heiso, and I was like that, and then
Yeah.
Heiso just there like la 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 la, and I'm like that's so me, just unaware. That's
No,
so funny.
Yeah, wow. That's crazy to me. How like Heiso had so many admirers.
Right,
Like
that's usually how it is. It's usually how it is for some people.
and then Mincheol just
yeah.
wow.
He did the biggest generational fumble in the history of generational fumbles, and that's why I'm pissed. That's
No.
why
Well,
I'm
I'm gonna tell
pissed.
you guys. I don't want to
if
get
it
off topic,
wasn't
but
for
like,
Mincheol, if there wasn't for
uh
Mincheol, there wouldn't have been a Taeha. Let's just say that. He did us a favor.
very
Yep.
true, very true. I've been reading, I'm not trying to get off topic because I know we're talking about Chisholm of the Flower, but there is someone worse than Taeha. I mean, there's someone worse than Kang Mincheol.
Ooh, that?
There is a character out there right now that I'm reading, and he is worse than Kang Mincheol. He makes Kang Mincheol look
Oh,
like an angel.
who?
I I can text
Is
you
it
guys
Is
separately.
it Lee D? Is it Lee Do Hyun? Lee Do Hyun from Trashy Situation? Cause fuck that guy.
Oh no.
He
He's even
he
worse than
he
him. He's
goes.
worse than him.
on Winston?
He.
He's worse than
Whoa!
him.
What are you reading?
Girl, this I don't know if she's in here. I don't think she is, but I think it's Fatima. Fatima, I think Fatima was the one that put me on it. Is she in here?
Oh,
Fatima
No,
put me
I don't
onto
think
this
she.
manhwa. It's called Dive. Just look up dive manhwa. Actually, let me see. Yeah, dive manhwa. I don't know. I can't put it in there. But just look up dive man and then put manhwa. So dive and then manhwa. Like when you
What is
search it
it?
up.
DIV.
Oh, okay.
And it should be a picture of a man and a woman in a purple dress. Do you
Yeah.
guys see it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the story I'm reading currently. Let me tell you, it is so good, and it's so good. It's so good. It's a lot of like obviously adult content, but he is worse than Kang Mincheol. He's worse. What he does, it's so bad. It's so bad.
I am going to.
I hope the protagonist doesn't
Look,
stay with. That'll just like make me pull my hair.
Girl,
look, that's
just
why when people are like, "Oh, I hope that Hazel gives this mental a second chance." I'm just like, I rebuke that statement, and I
Those
hope
are like the
everything's not well.
delusional.
yeah,
Let's be
that's why I can't
realistic.
read certain things. Like,
No woman would go back to a man that physically cheats. Like in
yes,
days on your
I
anniversary.
know.
on
God
the
help me.
anniversary,
Not
not on
even
her
that. The fact
birthday.
that she breaks her
On their
back for
anniversary.
him. She
I
doesn't get
get it.
any.
Like,
She doesn't
Mhm.
eat properly. She doesn't.
Mhm.
All he does is like it's like a tit for tat. Anything she
Yeah.
says triggers him. He always like, oh my god. Like I personally would not believe any woman that would say she would give a second guy a chance. That has that dynamic or that dilemma of mindset or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that just have a fantasy, like, oh, if I would read this in a story and everything, she should go back to him. But like in real life, really, no.
No, step on his throat. What are you talking? Excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah,
No.
yep, yep. No,
And there are
don't
a
take
lot
that
of
back.
women who are like that.
Step on his
a lot of women, and mind you, Hazel has a lot of endurance, a lot of
Yes,
perseverance. She has a lot
yes.
that, realistically speaking, in real life, no woman would put up with that
Yeah.
to
No,
that
yeah.
extent.
No woman should.
Hard
No woman
work,
should.
labor, and no, I don't
There
believe
is.
it.
I've seen a lot of women who go through a lot of crap.
They
I
do. They
am one of
honestly,
Hmm?
them.
but there are some, but for Hazel to be done with it and then try to go back again, I
Yeah.
don't see it happening. She's moved on.
Mhm.
They're completely
Well,
different
the
guys.
thing is, like, everyone keeps saying like she's moved on, but she has to have that one either that I think she has one or two more interactions with him because she has to have that one interaction of like complete closure because she has to interact with him one more time because that whole like him coming inside and like her throwing stuff that wasn't not I don't think she needs closure by meeting him, but I'm saying like they're going to have an interaction one more time or at
I
least
don't think, okay,
two
even
more
if we
times.
interaction again, or like a certain closure that she's gonna get, I don't
Yeah.
even think Rachel is going to even come to her and display it in a respectful way. I think
No,
she's
yeah.
even worse. And she's just gonna look at
Are
it
you
as like,
guys?
oh my god, this is the person that I've been with for the past 13 years, and he's like this. Like I did
Yeah.
not even anticipate that. I
And I
took
also yeah, and I also think
long
she's
to
gonna stand
realize
up for
it.
herself too.
And
She's gonna
mind you,
stand up for herself.
a woman doesn't know her worth until she's away from it, and then when she goes back on it to look at it, she's like,
Yeah,
"Oh my god, like I can't believe that I put up with this and that you're this type of person.
exactly.
You're
Yeah,
crazy, you're toxic, you're everything." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
because
yeah.
I can
study
literally see.
say she did say she was like, when the foreshadowing for the key chapters, with the covers,
Uh-huh.
Yes.
when we saw Mincheol with blood on him and everything, we first
Mhm,
initially
Mhm.
thought that that would be the confrontation with
mhm.
Taeha and Haso, and he walks in on them, like a parallel. Like we had that. We were like, oh,
Mhm.
maybe it's like we're gonna have a parallel to like the same way, which didn't happen, but that was just a theory
No,
before.
because he would have
Mhm.
literally that would have been so
Yeah, and
nasty if that would have happened.
I literally remember vividly when Study Bunny had a theory saying, "Oh, I still remember this day because I was fucking stressed. I was literally telling like
That you
the Study Bunny.
resting.
I literally was telling her, I was like, she was saying like, for my own sanity, I hope Mincheol doesn't be physical with Hazel, like in front of Taeha, like, and I'm like, holy fucking shit, like that, because we
That
saw
would
how he was
happen.
in a Maniac episode, especially with the Emperor, Tyrant,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which God didn't happen. Oh my God, thank God it
It
didn't.
hasn't
But
happened yet because
it
I
hasn't happened
swear,
yet.
like,
It's gonna happen eventually, and
he
Yeah.
has
you
blood
know
on
they're
his,
gonna be
like,
together.
if we analyze this cover and we analyze the cover that came right after, he has
Yep.
blood on himself,
Yeah.
smiling.
Yeah.
He
He look.
absolutely in
Look at his
mania.
eyes. Look at his eyes.
Like, his
Like
eyes are
like
not, he's not
he's
Wait, what's
there.
the
big.
other part
He's
of
not,
this? The other panel?
let
He's
me show you
laughing.
guys.
He's
Sorry.
not believing his eyes or something like what
No.
he's
And then
like. No, there's
And
just
then
no way.
in this cover, she is wearing the underskirt of the Jason
Mm-hmm.
Queen cover. She's
Yeah.
crying. She's looking at Taeha's the barbarian king, for like a tribal king, and
Yeah.
then he is looking towards Mincheol because they're upwards. Mincheol is downwards, right? And this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
one of my favorite covers. But it's like he is like
Oh,
this is
wait,
this is probably going to be the moment where she realizes that I can trust
wait.
Taeha.
What?
Her
And then
savior.
there's like a
Yeah.
difference. Yeah. And then she can like finally be able to come, at least lend her heart out to Taeha in this situation.
Yes.
Because the thing is that, yeah, there's going to be a fight between them, but it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. And that's why I was like saying these two covers are actually really important to the series. Like, all the covers are actually important.
What if the person
Um,
that he hurt was Ari? Like, because like obviously you can tell like they're not hurt, but there's blood on him. So he might have hurt someone in the process of trying to getting to
No.
her or getting to him.
No. Hell no. Hell no. I'll tell you this. Mincheol doesn't give it a rat's ass about Ari. The only person that can actually trigger him is Hazel moving on from him. That is
No, I'm not
something
saying
that
like he cares about Ari. I'm saying like in the panel in the cover, right, where he has blood on him and he has blood on the sword. And you can look at what Taeha and Haso, they have no injuries from what I can tell. Like there's no blood on them or nothing. So it's like who actually is in the crossfire of the battle between them. Does that make sense?
oh,
yeah.
because then, like, because Ari meant nothing to Mincheol, but
Mm-hmm.
Mincheol means everything to Ari. Shit,
I don't
she
okay.
doesn't deserve
That's a
it.
possibility, but maybe it's not gonna be physical. I think maybe it's just like what do they call the word? Like blood is significant for what? Violence.
Yes,
So maybe that there's a possibility it's not gonna be bloody, but we can tell that
Yeah.
it's gonna be bad. You
Oh
know
no,
what I
I'm
it's
mean?
gonna
not
be
saying
bad
he's not gonna definitely be
emotionally.
physical like
Yeah, but
with
I don't
Ari,
think
but I
anyone
think
die. Taeha won't. Oh my
I'm
God.
saying like okay, yeah, maybe she's not gonna die, but like obviously people are saying he's gonna use Ari to try and like get the debt off or in some capacity try and get his way back in with Haso. And I feel like she's going to get in the crossfire of him trying to get,
She will.
between
She
that.
definitely. She definitely will. I'm
Because
actually really
Ari's just
happy that
there.
this.
And it's so sad to see her.
He's crazy.
No,
He's legit.
she doesn't want to leave though. She doesn't want to leave. Like I think that's my frustration with her. Like she doesn't want to leave. If I were in the story, I would be dragging her by the scalp and telling her jump ship, leave now.
Not
Like
Yeah.
even
do
like we
what.
can tell.
Mm,
We can tell by the initial meeting. I think it was
Mm-hmm.
the second meeting she had with her friend. And her
Mm-hmm.
friend is just like what the readers, have been
Yeah.
feeling. And I think that's crazy because gae-nim put that in to like, you know, throw that at Ari, like, hey, like, this is weird and everything. Don't you find this, And Ari kind of pushed her away, which
Yeah.
means like
No,
she
yeah.
doesn't want to listen. She doesn't want to take any advice. Like she just wants to hear what she wants to hear. And what she wants is Mincheol, and that's what she's gonna get. Like, that's her end goal.
Mm-hmm. My thing is, like, a lot of people are gonna hate me for this. Oh, well, people have already got mad for me saying this, but I really feel like if you're going to be upset at Ari for staying with Kang Mincheol, then you have to be upset at Haeso. And they're like, well, that's not the same thing
Yeah,
because the time difference. And it's like, okay, yeah,
yeah,
definitely the time difference. But like, if you look at Ari right now and you see her eyes and you see Haeso's eyes before, they look very
yeah,
similar. Like he's literally a parasite. Like I feel like Gani is like she's really showing a pattern that he has. Like it's not, and she's showing it because she wants to make sure people are not saying, well, it was because of Haeso or Haeso was a problem. Like no, this is his problem. Like he has a problem with sucking the life out of people, and that's why he left Haeso because he wasn't giving him enough life, or she wasn't
yeah.
young and youthful. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I think for everybody, it's not more or less like hate towards Ari, but it's like disappointment because we've been in, people have been in situations where they've seen like their friends and stuff be with somebody, and you're
Mm-hmm.
telling them and you're seeing them, but they're still willing to stay. I think that like if we were to see the story with how Haeso was when the abuse was still there, I think people will still have the same reaction to Naheso
Yeah.
as they were to Mincheol. There's even people saying that it's not Haeso's fault that the marriage broke apart.
Oh
Like it
my
was
gosh, I was
Haeso's
on Twitter
fault.
the other day.
Yeah. So there's been people who have been saying that and like saying that like, oh, Mincheol was such a nice guy. Like, what did she do? What happened? Was it her fault? And the thing is that like people aren't mad at Ari or even saying like, oh, it's Ari is just like being this person who is willingly willing to stay. She's been sucked into Mincheol's manipulation. Mincheol's manipulation was sweet manipulation. It wasn't the hard manipulation that he used with Naheso to get the relationship to stay. But the thing is that at some point, I think I can't judge her character until I see what she does when Mincheol shows her true colors. Because in chapter 18, the minute she had inkling that he was acting a buck, she jumped. So I think with her, but the thing is, the issue is that there's been little things that's been shown that she's not okay. Like she was saying, oh yeah, I can get a new car. We can just crash this one so you can get a better car. Her trying to baby trap herself was not healthy.
It was
Wasn't good.
sad. It was so
It
sad.
was very sad. It doesn't show
Like
that she's got it
so
all
sad.
up in there. That's the issue. And I think when those pieces came out, people were like,
Yeah.
okay, she's not only just willing to stay, she's willing to put herself into harm's way so she can keep this relationship.
But my thing is, right, like I look at Ari and I see how easy it was for her to give herself to him. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
there's something within her that is allowing her to think that she needs him when she's the one with the house, she's the one with everything, and
That's the
apparently she
problem.
needs him.
That's the problem
That's
with
the
narcissists.
issue.
Narcissists like
Yeah.
make you believe that, you know, you know what? I'm not even gonna say anything because Mincheol like literally drains the shit out of me, like talking about him. Like it's hard. Like he's a narcissist. Narcissists like usually like pull people in, they reel you in, they suck the shit out of you, and then you know what I mean? They don't let go. And it's like a push and pull
Mm-hmm.
thing with them. And listen, it doesn't even matter that she has a car and she has that. Like the thing is, ideally, like she just loves Mincheol because she likes the idea of him. You know what I mean? Like he pulled up that heroic, I don't know, pole stunt in front of her, or like not in front of her, but she was overhearing. You know how like the coworkers were talking about Ari, and then Mincheol, said something and whatnot, and she just was like, "Oh, he just swayed my heart right away that instant."
Mm-hmm.
Like he's so different than the other guys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god,
Mm,
guys, crazy! Like I can't.
mm, 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 mm. No, I don't care. People saying, "Oh my gosh, gae-nim is such a terrible writer." Nah, she's good. She's good. Let her cook. Can we just let her cook, please, for like 10 chapters until the end of this mono so we can actually like judge her writing? Because when you go back, you're like, holy, she knows. She has it. She has it
Yeah,
under control.
yeah,
Like, this is absolute
she definitely
insanity
does.
of how much of a grip
Every
she
chapter,
has on her own plot.
every chapter she
Yes.
makes, there's always like it's like that, like little crumbs that, you know what I mean, that you just like, you'll eat it and everything, and you're like, oh, like you savor it every single time, like every little thing, you just savor it, savor it. Like, we don't get the full meal, and we're just like, okay, that's it, we're done, you know what I mean, like every other manhwa, like, you know. But this one, we just savor it, because each chapter, we're just like waiting for it, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, what's gonna happen?
And what's gonna happen next?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And I'm not gonna lie, like, I low-key did think that this chapter 69, low-key, like, innerly, it was gonna be a continuation of
Chapter?
Mincheol. Yeah, it was oh, well, I thought it was gonna be the 6-9 situation, but I wanted it to be like, you know, when your heart is telling you, I want this, but your mind is telling you, snap the fuck out of it, use your brain for once, like, let's be real, like, you know, there is gonna be a continuation of flashback, which has to, you know, we have to get the story going, you know what I mean, we have to get like the history of the relationship. Once we're done with that, you know, I feel like it's like a domino effect. So once we fall towards like the meeting between Taeha and Haeso, then like the small little confrontation, then we get the backstory between Mincheol and Haeso, you know, to understand, like, you know, what the relationship was been about from both sides, from Mincheol's side and from Haeso. Even, you know, with the abuse and what Haeso had to go through. Then once that's over with, we're gonna go to the Beom family, you know, and then Taeha, and then, you know, it gets deeper. So I'm having brain fart.
Holy crap. Okay, here is the analysis. I put it through ChatGPT because I was like, I'm too lazy to think. So they said that these two images are promotional covers or chapter covers, obviously for Tears on a Withered Flower, and it analyzed them. So they said for the first image, the character portrayal is the man is shown with blood splattered with his clothes and a weapon, standing confidently despite his injuries. His partially exposed torso suggests vulnerability and raw power. The mood and symbolism situates that the heavy use of blood, robes, and wounds symbolizes violence, sacrifice, and vengeance. The grand palace background with its detailed architecture underscores themes of power struggles, political intrigue, and the weight of the story. The narrative implication suggests a pivotal moment of conflict. He's either just fought through overwhelming odds or is about to face retribution. It positions him as a tragic, possibly self-destructive figure. Second image is chapter 35's cover, the man with the long black hair and the woman in the wolf. Character portrayal is the dark-haired man excuses dominance and a dangerous allure. He's holding the woman close, his expression both protective and predatory. The woman looks smaller, almost delicate in comparison, but there's trust in her gaze. The wolf symbolism is the wolf at the bottom adds a layer of meaning, loyalty, primal instincts, and the idea of the man embodying a predator's strength. The wolf also reflects wildness and a rejection of rigid social order, contrasting with the palace's setting in the first image. The mood and symbolism is the cover radiates intimacy, wildness, and raw express passion. The warm tones and sunlight contrast with the dark undertones of possession and danger. The narrative implication is suggests a romance forged in danger, with the woman finding herself entwined with someone untamed and powerful, perhaps an anti-hero or protector who exists out of society's laws. And that actually works for Tears on a Withered Flower, low key. Damn. Anyway.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. No, we didn't hear you before.
Can you hear me now? Like, is it good or does it sound weird?
Oh, no, we can hear you now.
Okay, good. Okay. I'm on my desktop because my phone died.
Okay. Okay. I think for these two covers, when we get to that part of the conflict, which it takes time for us to kind of see everything that has happened. Mincheol's going to get his retribution, but how Mincheol deals with that type of retribution, it will actually probably break him as an individual, just because part of him probably realized that I never actually thought that I would have to kind of suffer the consequences of my actions. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's something that really, like, he had to stop and think about, especially how he was acting in chapter 50 when he what is it called, was thinking that Hazel should be texting, like she's still angry and stuff, because of how everyone was hyping him up in his youth, like like I peaked in high school behavior. He thinks that the world owes him something for everything that he's been through, and he's still waiting for that payment to
He's
come through.
cocky.
That's like the teacher said. He's a cocky man. A very, very cocky man. Too cocky.
I feel like what he went through was kind of like a humiliation type tactic. I feel like he was just getting humiliated the whole time. Because like even the way people were treating him and stuff, it was like kind of taunting. But then like behind closed doors, as we saw, people were talking about him and Hazel and how they really felt. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, he obviously it went to his head and he still thinks about it to this day, but it just felt more humiliating than anything, you know?
Mm-hmm. No. But the thing is that there was things that he could have done in order to at least because it was his idea that they should elope. It was his idea that they should run away together and all of this stuff without an accurate plan. And Mincheol had a place that he was living, so he could have easily just gotten Hazel to just live with him while he was in high school, while he was going to college, or could have made things work, because with enough scholarships and stuff, you can be able to have your stuff covered, especially if he was in financial need. I know Korea is much more giving for scholarships, especially for their domestic students. So he could have been able to have his school stuff covered. But the issue is that he allowed it to get to his head like very quickly, and then when he came crashing down, he took it too personally. Personally. Mincheol could have been just as good. Tag Garrett said Mincheol could have been just as good as he chose to be a dick. And that's so true.
That's hilarious.
No, that's true. That's true. That is so true.
One thing, okay, so like everything's kind of making sense to me, right? Like, okay, he dropped out of, I don't think he dropped out of high school, but it seems like they dropped out of high school. He didn't go to college just to get away from Hazel's dad, because Hazel's dad was just always attacking her. So like to your point about him moving her into his place, her dad would have just found them or called the police or whatever, and so he wanted to make sure there was no possible way for the dad to come and get her. And also my thing is this the time where he figures out that he needs more money and he pulls out the debt and credit cards and stuff, and then he realizes he has so much debt in his name that he can't use his name anymore? So he's like, you know what? Hazel won't mind if I use her name, so I'm just going to use it. And he uses the wrong people because he doesn't understand that those people are slimy,
Yeah. Like, I feel like he's also naive as well, when he was thinking that he could be able to take someone who was in an abusive situation and then ensure that they were going to have a stable life together. I was like, I don't think you know what you were going to get yourself into. And the thing is that because everyone had such high hopes for Mincheol, no one could have warned him. Like, the teacher was the only person who warned him, like, you don't know what you've done. Like, you don't know what you've you've done to yourself and to your future and everything by this decision. Like, we know it was by good intentions. We know that he technically did save Hae-so, but he ended up putting her into hell shortly after things got tough. And even though Na Hae-so, he was even saying in chapter 68, Na Hae-so always believed in a better future. Why couldn't Mincheol do the same when he was the one who initiated the entire thing of them moving and getting away and everything like that? Tiger had said at 19 they are adults, and marriage and Hae-so is his responsibility. Like, that's just my whole thing. Like, what do you mean? Like,
I really think, like, okay, so I've seen these like stories where like they run away and stuff like that, and they go through so many different things, but you know, sometimes they end up making it, sometimes they're still going through it. I really get his intention with grabbing Hae-so and running out of there. I really get his intention because he's been gassed up and by everyone around him saying you can do anything. Anything you want to do, you can do it. He's like, I want to save my girlfriend and I can save her and make a better life for her. And so with that, I don't blame him. I blame the people around him. But to that point, right? I really think that he probably met with those same people again, like his friends or whatever. Because I really do believe that people in your life circle back into your life, and I really feel like those same people probably looked down on him, said some things or whatever to him, seeing at the state that he was in. And I think that's why he was so picky with jobs, why he's like, I have to get this certain job or do this certain thing or whatever, so that he can prove to himself and maybe anyone else that's talked down on him, because now his pride is hurt, you know? Because I don't think Hae-so has ever said that he can't do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also the thing is that still gets to me is that he's now working the office job that he wanted or probably wanted back in his 20s. But now he's not even taking that job with the seriousness that it deserves, because anyone would tell you in the workforce, you gotta sometimes grind shit out, be at the bottom of the barrel for a while, get those connections, and then build up and climb up the ladder. Do we like to do it? No, but like Na Hae-so, who stood by in cold and poverty for 10 years, she was able to go do low part-time jobs. She could have been picky, but she was like, you know what, I'm gonna do what I have to do in order to support. Oh, they've been together for 3 years, because Hae-so mentioned in chapter 33 that they were together for 13 years. So they were married for 10, but they were together for 3. Yeah. All right, we're gonna end the live stream. Does anybody have any more questions? Because we were talking for a hot minute. Does anyone have anything to close off before we end off our chapter 69 recap discussion?
Go read Dive.
No.
Go read it. I promise you. I want you to read it and come back to me. I need to know your reaction. I need to know.
I'm scared. I'm too scared.
Please read it. It's currently going on. It's on season 2. Go read it, okay? It's so good. It's called Dive Manhwa. Go read it and come back to me, because I want to see how you. I crashed out. I'm just telling you.
If I already have to read about, because look, I'm reading this manhwa, I'm reading Trashy Situation, I'm reading manhwas that I'm dealing with men, I'm going to be reading junk. I'm reading trashy manhwas already. Do I want to really put another one on my plate? Do I need to really see a man that I want him to jump into the ocean and be eaten by sharks? I don't know. Why are you laughing?
The story is so good. Girl, I promise you, you will not regret it. Read it, and then hit me up, and I want to tell me everything about how you feel about it.
All right, okay. I will read it when I can finally like have the courage. Does anybody else have anything to say about the chapter before we end off? 10 years, 10 roses. Oh my gosh, Tigerhead, you're on fire today. Holy. When Hazel first met Taeha in the beginning of their marriage. Wait, so if she got together with Mincheol at the age of 19, 20, 21, she probably got pregnant 4 years into their marriage, which is 24 years old. And then, yeah, they must have met like way earlier into the marriage. Oh, we're going to get so much context, and it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot, and I'm excited. 24 and 14. Yeah, he's definitely was in middle school. He definitely was in middle school during that time. Anyways, I am going to, because I have to make sure that this recording is up, I'm going to be ending off the discussion. So this was the end of the chapter 69 recap discussion. We had a lot going on. It was a pleasure talking to you ladies and gents. If we have any in the audience, we don't want to leave you out. If anybody still wants to talk, if anybody still has anything to say, I will tag the boardroom towards the bottom. The episode will actually be uploaded tonight, just to make things easier. And that will be all for chapter 69. Oh, also, please do not forget a couple things. Tears on a Withered Flower has been nominated for a Webtoon Global Award. Over the next 6 weeks, there's going to be voting going on. Everybody is allowed to vote once every week. So I know we have like 900 people in the server. Please, even though if you are still trying to just like marinate the story and whatever, or you're just kind of looking at the story right now and you're like, okay, I'll come back to it, please vote. I think gae-nim deserves an award, and it would show that, at least for her first work, that she deserves, you know, an award. So she knows that she has fans internationally. We as international fans can vote. Please keep in mind, I think it's gotten better that you have to wait until Korean daytime, but I don't think this is the case anymore. So I will post up this for all roses to do. And then also, as well as, there is merch now available. Volume 3 and 4 for Tears on a Withered Flower is coming on pre-order. The pre-order is ending October 14th, which is actually not that far away. That is next month, about approximately a month from now. Please, if you can, order if you want to, if you got the money. I know the funds are a little low. I'm not gonna force any of y'all. I'm probably gonna order just because I heard that the 18 plus scenes are a little bit more detailed from what I've been hearing from people from Korea. If you want to try and order the merch, there's merch instructions also tagged right over here that I have posted. The pictures, the photo booth pictures from Naheso and Taeha are actually within the set, so you guys can order it, as well as the Taeha wolf emoticons, as well as the chibis as well. They're included as stickers. So if you guys are interested in that, as well as the pictures of the kiss and everything like that, if you want to order it, you guys have until the 14th. I think it got sold out at least once and they had to restock. It's always a little bit of an issue when they have to take out Tears merch, because yeah, you're gonna have a lot of people. But please vote. Please vote. Anyways, that is the end of the recap discussion for Tears on a Withered Flower. This has been the Study Bunny, and I wish you all, let me turn off the recording, a wonderful week or weekend. All right.